Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mech Engineer. Now, I've had time to look back through many comments and a lot of feedback on the last episode in particular. And in general, in response to my what would you like to see kind of question, I had quite a lot of strong support for checking out a nest, but also a decent amount of people were, let's say, cautious, and they wanted us to beeline for the finish line and not take super unnecessary risks, such as just marching over here and just tangling with Titans without any particular return other than killing a Titan. I am quite interested in checking out a nest, though, and I have received a few comments here and there. Specifically, I have been told that with regards to Titans and nests, there is the whole retreat. The mechs will announce retreat when they've effectively won, and not to panic about that. Thank you very much, because that's absolutely something I would have panicked about. Also, there was a lot of interest in seeing some size plus weapons, specifically a size plus BFG, which is an interesting one because that kind of that stands juxtaposition to the overall sentiment that the BFGs have trivialized the game. And I agree. I'm just going to say it. I really feel that since we had the BFGs, and this, no place has been a better example of this than the water maps, where normally these kinds of twisty, turny areas would have been really, really dangerous for us, but the BFG just deletes the map. It trivializes the experience of having to march through these areas. I agree. That being said, I'm also of the mind that when you're playing a game like this, you have to take into consideration certain other factors other than simply winning. If this was real life, it was like, well, this is great. I've been given a win button. Why wouldn't I press the win button? The fate of humanity is hanging by a thread. But this is a game, and fun is itself a goal. That being said, though, I would like to, rather than just ramp up like through home rules an artificial difficulty spike, which may see us fail, I'd like to try and like beeline for the finish line, possibly even just skip over a bunch of battles if they're all going to just be the same thing, and see the end screen, and then see what we can do with those kinds of like self-imposed restrictions, perhaps in a second run. That would be my preference for that one. Let me know what you think. That being said, I did say that we're probably between this episode and the next going to be doing a big reshuffle. However, a lot of people have suggested, hey, why don't we just stick to the water? Why change what's already working? We can just march straight up there and get to this without ever having to go on land and having to do a big reshuffle of our mechs. And there is something to be said there, especially because there is a nest in the way, and this might be a prime opportunity for us to check out a nest. So I think that's something that we're going to be aiming for. That said, though, we do have a couple of other comments, and one of them that we're going to address straight away is, I've got a name that was just fantastic for Mr. Blue. Nathaniel M9150 suggested Shelob, and honestly, how could I say no? There we go. Shelob has been christened. Now I'm going to have to come up with a paint scheme suitable for Shelob. I will have to dive deep into the Silmarillion, see if there's any particular descriptions other than dark, and just see what jumps out at us. But that was a fantastic suggestion. I really, really liked it. Now, we have got a couple of things coming down the pipe in terms of our calendar, and I've got a lot of ideas for how we can like rejig our mechs. I would really like to kind of standardize them a little bit and start sending out smaller groups, just a single lance, for example, but multiple times per episode. We've got 2 of the highest power ICE motors on the way. Looking forward to that, and that can definitely be used straight away for the Shelob. Currently, these 2 powered motors could be replaced, since the top tier motors give 80 support, whereas these only give 77, and that's after double red lining. But what we could do is replace both of these with the higher tier motors, and then take these 3 red lines and pop it into the railgun. I think that is going to be perfect for us. And I've got a couple of other ideas as well. Talking about the symmetry of our mechs, I think we need another mech to kind of pair off with Dig Rig. I've mentioned this several times, but I'm starting to think that maybe we want to retire one of the other mining mechs we've currently got and set Digrig up with that. Likewise, I would like to standardize the Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink so that they are proper twinsies, and that means that I'm probably going to be taking the BFG off Mr. Pink. But we all know that there's a mech that has been kind of without purpose for a little while. And no, I'm not talking about Leviathan. Sorry, Leviathan. Shellcracker, I think that would be a perfect mech to carry the new BFG as a single weapon, because it more or less is the same ammo type, and so it would work quite well for Shellcracker, I do believe. But those are all things that I am thinking about, not things that I'm going to be doing right away. I kind of want to change up the Marshmallow a little bit, though. You know what? Let's start this episode off with some mech engineering, as the name of the game implies. Right. Marshmallow, what kind of reactor have you got? You got a good one. Good. As do you. In terms of your internal and external resistances, yep, you're about the same. So you've got the same kind of reactor even, which I like. You're both effectively set up to be defense mechs. So how about we really lean into that? And there is no easier way for us to lean into that than to just straight up take away the gun. Your job is no longer to fight at long range. You can use your CRAM. In fact, if we've taken away that, we probably don't even need the needler bullets anymore. Your shield is your main weapon at this point. And the fact that you've got very fast melee attacks. This is going to free up quite a bit of stuff for us, I must say. We don't need this anymore, for example. Do we have enough motors to go around? Not really. Okay, we'll pop one in there. So Digrig, we're going to have to give you a basic motor for now, but that's okay, I think. There we are. We're... well, actually a little bit underweight now, unfortunately. Okay, well, is there anything else I can do? Honestly, if we're not generating heat, well, we still would be generating a bit of heat by reloading, but I could move that across. And we could instead put in a quick AUX module, for example, the metal grid to pull down weight. We're still a little bit off. I could get rid of some of your armor, but I'm not really keen on doing that, I must confess. We could... I wonder if I can add this in. Does that increase it even further? It does, but not by a lot. Not the same as this one. Well, actually, I guess they both do. Plus 5 shield power. Shield now deals energy damage. Or I could increase 25%... where was it? The battery. 15% extra power. I mean, that does give us more ammo... more energy available. I'm somewhat tempted to overclock you and go for evasion improvement. Multiplies evasion by 1% of available energy. Now that one is a really, really nice one. I don't think there's really anything else we would want, honestly. Now this does mean that the Digrig is at risk of taking more systems damage, though. And is that really affecting us that much? Let me have a quick look. Does that really give us that much evasion? It's 30.13, and if I take this off and it's 0, just those three, so we'll turn off overclocking. Womp, womp, womp. There we go. And now let's check in on evasion again. Well, I mean, it is doubling our evasion, to be fair. But would this be better if we pop that in here instead? Presently, that's giving us a little bit of extra energy, which is improving our shield ever so slightly. But if we pop this in here, our speed goes up. And whilst we don't get the massive upgrade on evasion, we do get stability regen going up, which is quite a nice one, honestly. Take that back out just to compare that again. So stability regen is 0.1. I guess it isn't that big of an improvement because stability regen is so low anyway. Of course, we're way overweight right now. So I think maybe we're going to have to roll with this motor for the time being. That actually brings us back up to correct weights. Stability regen is now 0.15. Evasion is 20.83. I mean, does it really matter if we never get hit? Let's pop that on. I just want to see what the evasion becomes. Did I... Oh, I do apologize. I completely flopped that one. There we go. Now, let's have a look. 36.71 evasion chance. That is nice. That is nice. But I'm not sure it's worth the double system damage that we would take. That being said, if we use Digrig well, Digrig is never going to be taking damage. But Digrig is a tank, ultimately, so, you know, is going to be attracting attacks to it. So I think we're going to err on the side of caution with this one and just pop these in. I think that should be fine. Right, but now with that, Digrig should be able to maneuver significantly better. Do we have good motors? Oh, we do. Fantastic. Okay, I'm sorry, Shellcracker, but you're going to have to lose those for now. What the heck? All of these amazing motors just tied up. Sorry, Leviathan. I feel really bad, okay? I do. I do feel super bad, Leviathan. For what it's worth, I deeply apologize. Right, we're going to move all of this around, and because I'm finicky about such things, I'm going to make sure that they're in the same places. Where's Digrigs? That drone there, shield module there. Okay. So we want shield module here, drone over there, and then finally we want some added stability. I guess I could go for triple C-RAM though. Ooh. Now that might be a solid one. We're not using ammo for anything else. That might be really powerful. Triple C-RAM? That could be huge. Max outside temperature for you though is only 92. Ah, it's because we've redlined motors. Never mind, we'll get that sorted in just a second. There we are. Alright, I'm thinking both of you are looking quite snazzy now. I do need to copy over the settings, but you know what? Instead of the stability... Well, considering I do use Digrig for digging a decent amount, sure, I think maybe just 2 C-RAM is enough, and we will have the stability regen, because it means that you can get in and get out faster. And that is going to be a big one for us. Getting in and getting out a lot faster is going to be huge. Right, there we go. Let's set that up exactly the same way. Alright, passive armor is huge on Marshmallow. Much better than the Digrigs, actually, and I believe even liked it somehow. Well played. Well played indeed. Alright. Energy shield is about where it needs to be. We've got loads of room for extra coating. I guess I could just increase that, but do I have enough armor plates to set up Digrig similarly? I would like it if I could. Let's have a quick gander then. We do not. Deep sadness. Deep sadness. Oh well, we will instead then drop these back on and get the top tier strike face. It's not ideal, certainly, but it gets the job done more or less. Right, let's just go ahead and pump these numbers a bit. We will try and get Digrig's armor way up there, though, as quickly as we can, because honestly, it doesn't matter if Digrig takes a bit of damage, if things do swarm them. If our armor is so high, it would take them a while to bore through it. That should be okay. Now, I do need to test both of these mechs to make sure that they can, in fact, operate at the temps that we're going to be fighting at. The only thing... Well, there's no real way for me to test this firing. That is a tricky one. It genuinely is. But I'm going to assume that since there's no other form of heat being generated, and by and large we shouldn't be facing against Millis too often, that these two are going to be okay. Now, Marshmallow, I'm not going to change your name. I really want to add a Drillbert and a Drillium, but we will add those as separate mechs. I'm not going to go around unnaming mechs. That is rude. But Marshmallow and Digrig are now ready to go, I think. Oh, apparently not. Oh, of course. Here I am, prepping this to not have weapons, and I forgot one of the golden rules. It's been that long since we've looked into this, but no mech can be fielded without 50% of its weapon slots being full. Right. Okay. Well, given that then, I'm going to have to make some changes. I think one of the biggest changes is I'm just going to pop in kind of a throwaway weapon system. We can definitely use this weapon system. That's absolutely fine. We can have it function maybe even as a super close range weapon system, because I don't want to have to worry too much about the setup of thermals, because we're trying to run these relatively low on the thermal side. Oh, please, mouse. There we go. Instead of having super fast fire rate, I'm just going to reduce the weight as much as I possibly can. Down to 5, that's fine, and we will add a little bit of extra oomph to this, but that should be fine. Honestly, I'm going to save that. We're going to write it over this one. These weapon systems, until we've got better motors. Once we've got better motors, I would be happy to change the weights out for this. But for the time being, this should be enough. And the slow rate of fire, relatively speaking, should mean that we are thermally safe with these. So let me just go ahead and get all of these hooked up and do all of the testing, and I shall bring you back when we're ready to move on. Okay. Now, I took the time to actually properly engineer this, and by that, I mean I settled on a number of quoting that I wasn't willing to go below, and that was 20. I then noticed how much weight I had to play with, and I tweaked the weapon specifically to reach that weight. So over here, we've got 16 weight. I could actually increase it a little bit more, perhaps move some things around. So the weapon is relatively fast firing now, and I'm quite happy with that. And we're also triple red lining them. Now, one of the things I noticed whilst setting all of this up that I'm really, really pleased with is that whilst in testing now, we can choose what the testing blip is. So you can check how your weapon system is going to engage different types of enemies, and I absolutely love that. Now, I've gone through the testing. Obviously, this isn't indicative of it, but it should be okay at 20 degrees. I cannot test the C-round reload without putting on a different type of weapon system, which is a problem, because I want to test how well this manages whilst firing its laser. However, the thing about the current setup of the weapons and the setup of the mechs in general is these are defensive mechs, chiefly, and so they are most likely not going to be within range of attacking something. If they are digging and that happens, then they do have the laser to attack, but odds are, in that situation, they're not using their C-RAM. It's unlikely they're going to be snuck up on by Millis, of all things, because Millis don't like getting close. So I'm banking on the fact that when the C-RAM is being used and it's reloading occasionally, that's because it is fighting at long range against specific types of enemies, and it's not using its laser in those moments. So that's my hope. Granted, it's a little bit worrying when I can't properly test it, but now the dig rig and the marshmallow are true twinsies. Let's go ahead and deploy these mechs. They have done everything that they needed to do. Thank you ever so much. Let's just make sure that I've done everything else in here. Just checking over everything. Yeah, everything is good. There's obviously a different amount of coating here because the weight of the armors that we're using are a bit different. But I'm a lot happier now with the dig rig and the marshmallow. Now, with that, the shell cracker, Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink, we can totally hook them up as well, and then move the BFG over to the shell cracker and bring that out to play, I think. Now, first thing I want to check is Mr. Brown, Mr. Pink. Just have a look at their respective setups. They've got a lot of energy going in here, which we're not going to be making use of. We've even got some of the strongest motors in here, just because I need it. We've got a lot of motors over here. My good lord. Right, well, I would like a different cabin in here. I'd like a 50-50 cabin to make use of the rocket pods. But honestly, having a balance between energy weapon and rockets, it seems like a good move. I don't really feel a reason why we should have Mr. Pink and Mr. Brown set up differently in this regard. We can just copy this design over, I feel. We do need a better cabin over here. But then the BFG can go over to the shell cracker. Shell cracker, do you have a good cabin? No, you've got the same cabin, unfortunately. Something I would like to change. Maybe Leviathan has a good cabin. No, Leviathan definitely doesn't have a good cabin, my lord. Well, given that then, I can at least swap things out for Mr. Pink and Mr. Brown, or at least bring them closer together in terms of the resistances and their overall functions. The cabins are going to be a little bit of an offshoot there. Though that being said, maybe I'm just going to go ahead and move Mr. Brown's cabin into Shellcracker and Shellcracker's cabin across, because at least that way Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink are going to be equal. All right, give me a few moments. Okay, welcome back to the Shelob, which I have done extensive heat testing. I have also, of course, finished off the Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink, but the testing on the Shelob is of particular noteworthiness. Now, because I've swapped out the engines, I've been able to triple redline the railgun. I've also taken away one of the heat sinks and popped in a ammo control. An ammo module. Now, the reason why I did this is it was pointed out, and rightly so, that we've got so many things that rely on the percentage of heat that perform better whilst the engine is at the higher ends of its heat threshold, and yet the Mr. Blue at the time was very well set up to be able to handle any kind of heat and keep a fairly low temperature. So I wanted to find a way to skirt just along the edge, and I believe I have now done that with a single heatsink. Now, the main thing here is that we do have a ammo an ammo safety system. So we've just overloaded that one. But if I'm trying to reload and the temperature is above 85, then it'll wait. It'll wait until the temperature is below 85. Now, if I bring this all the way back down to about 20, now unfortunately, at 20, we will gradually heat up until overheating, just from firing the gun for long enough. But the main thing I needed to test is to see if at 85 degrees, whether a full reload cycle would overheat us, because when we're reloading, we are not firing at all, and a significant amount of heat that comes from the Shelob comes from firing all of its guns, which it does much, much faster the hotter it gets. Even though reload is adding heat, while we're reloading, the Shelob is cooling down. It's not getting hotter. So I just needed to see that where the line was. And effectively, without the safety, the reload safety, we would start reloading at 95, drop down a certain amount, and each reload we came closer and closer to overheating while firing the gun, because we never quite got below the temperature that we were at the last reload. But if it'll only reload at 85, we guarantee that it can be no hotter than that with each reload. And from 85, as you're watching right now, we managed to get down to a quite comfortable position. We don't overheat, even with all of our guns going the whole time. We get to 98%, 97, 98%, which is fine. As long as it's below the 100%, it doesn't matter. It's only the last hit point that counts. And right now, this means that our railgun is firing very, very fast, as are all of the other cannons. So I'm actually really, really happy with that change. It's going to cost us 32 engineers, but let's go ahead and deploy you. Now let's have a look at the Mr. Pink and the Mr. Brown. We have got a triple red-lined laser. We did have to triple redline a single electric motor, unfortunately. But it's okay. We just tailored the coating. As I've mentioned before, we decided on what the minimum amount of coating that I was willing to accept, and then I tailored the weight of the weapons to accommodate that. I have had to make some concessions with the weapons in order to make that work. But overall, this is not too bad, and you might notice that since we had so much extra energy anyway, I went ahead and I threw in a shield module. So both the Mr. Pink and Mr. Brown also destroy things with just the presence of their shield. And if you're wondering how big of an area that is, it's not the gigantic one that the Dig Rig and the Marshmallow have, but it's still pretty good. Now, I don't really see any reason to try and add anything else onto this system. I'm sure there are ways that we could tweak it. One of the things I would really love to do is get better cabins across the board, but that's a little ways off, and I'm not going to bother diving into the Mr. Brown, because honestly it's exactly the same mech at this point, so we're just going to go ahead and field both of those. Now, sadly, Shellcracker, there is no conceivable way that I'm going to be able to pop this in there and you have a regular reactor, so that's going to have to wait for now until we have a proper reactor to throw into this mech. But that will come in time. I'm also going to want a lot more motors to be able to make this work properly, because right now we're having to use the electric motors, and that just won't work. Though I suppose with a more powerful reactor and a single weapon, it might be a possibility. But either way, I think this is the lineup for now. We've rejigged the Mr. Pink, the Mr. Brown, the Dig Rig, the Marshmallow, and the Shelob. They've all had a pretty extensive rejig. Remaining are the Shepherd, the Nicola, and the Frostfire. And Nicola and Frostfire, again, I kind of want to go with a bit more of a symmetric design, and they might eventually be dual BFG rigs. We'll see how that one goes. But it is high time for us to start making a move, I do believe. So let's go ahead and just check in on what's coming up next. We are going to get 2 new motors, 2 very high power motors actually, and a new cabin, and 1 of the control rods for the new new reactor that we're going to be getting up and running. But it's finally time for us to pass the day. Now let's have a look. 43 humans were gotten out of the hospital, and is this going down? Oh, I don't know, but it is shockingly close to going down, I think. If it didn't go down this turn, I think the next 1 or 2 turns it's going to start heading down that way. 1 day on a new mech, which I'm very excited for. We got a lot of materials that last turn. We actually generated a decent amount of components, 85 to be exact. Very, very happy. The overall efficiency has gone up. Life systems have gone up. All in all, our walking city is doing well. But we are now finally going to reach the point where every single day we're going to see a new type of enemy. So that is not super amazing, but it is what it is. Right then, so we've got the medical components, ammo factory. We want you to be leveled up, so the additional universal factory down here, we're going to get some more consumer goods, some more components, and a little bit of extra help on the city's damage supply. If we have a gander in here, yes, everything has come through as we wanted. Look at the graphs, looking truly amazing. The resources in particular are looking fantastic. It's almost at the point where it's like, well, do we even need to hit a nest? One of the biggest things that they do is give us extra resources, but we've also got a clone, which I'm extremely, extremely pleased to see. Let's have a look. Who are you a clone of? Are you a clone of Caligal, who is themselves a clone of... Where are you? Sound Sphere. There we go. You're going to need a lot of training before we're ready to take you out anyway. Wow, look at the color there. Ah, I see. Different, they're getting more and more light colored as their level goes up. That's kind of cool. I like that. Right, okay, so let's have a look at the missions for today. We want to head up in this direction. Now, if we have a look at resources, are there any particular resources around? There's 2 spots that we could go for. 1 over there, 1 down here. But there is, of course, the nest. I would like to take on that nest. However, and this is a big however, I would rather do it when we've got the new reactor and hooked up. And so that I can ensure either the shellcracker is coming with us, or maybe just upgrade one of the other mechs. I don't think there are many other mechs that need a new reactor, so I think it's the Shellcracker, and we'll get the BFG on the Shellcracker for that one. Have we got more? Yeah, we've got another one popping up there. We got a lot of nastiness going on here, and everything is moving this way. Now remember, as far as I'm aware, east-west map warp is a thing. North-south, not so, but everything could come and say hi to us whether we want to play with the Titans or not, really, on that score. Which isn't the greatest thing in the universe, I must confess. Oh, wow, we got 2 little areas there. That'll be fairly easy for us to clean. Oh, that was a bit of an interesting map there. Over here, we could just clear that out, ready for a potential mission in the next episode. I've spent a lot of time rejigging the mechs in this one, even though I wasn't really planning on it. But if we are going to continue with moving up through the ocean and straight across, which I don't see any reason not to, I think hitting this nest, at least one of them, next episode is a thing. So we're going to just clear around things around it, just get some combat and see how the mechs are going to do now that I've tweaked them a little bit. And then next episode, we're going to be hitting a nest and continuing on our way. Honestly, at this point, if they just keep going side to side, they might actually be in my way before I can get to that, which is a little bit scary, but at the same time, kind of cool, I must confess. Right, well, we may as well just clear out these 2 areas. There's no particular reason not to. There's a 23, and that is a 5. That would be fine by me. Alright, well, we'll start off with this one. We'll send in a smaller group, I think. So just give me a moment to get all of our pilots assigned. Okay. Now, at this point, The Shelob is one of the only mechs that we have, in fact the only mech we have that doesn't have drones. And it seems like the most obvious choice then is to put our commanders in there who don't have drone skill, but do enhance the drone skill of every other pilot with us. So, Mini Murgle, you're going to be in the Shelob for this one, and we might actually be moving forward with the Shelob as a true commander mech, since it kind of stands apart from all of the other mechs which have a sort of symmetry to them. We're going to have the Mr. Pink up next, along with the Mr. Brown, both targeting Flagella. We're going to have we're going to have Shepherd maybe on the other Flagella, sure. Then the Nicola with the BFG, which is maybe not the right choice to have going for something as simple as an Operarius. Instead, we're going to have you focusing on the Brucus. You can easily eliminate those completely, followed by the Frostfire, and then finally the Marshmallow and the Dig Rig, both of our Diggerers on the last spot. This should be all good for us. Now, am I going to get enough resources back from this with 3 Brucus? Probably not, but it's fine. The main thing for us now is actually getting the experience for our pilots. More than anything else, that's what I want. I want to get them all to max level as quickly as we possibly can. My lord, it takes a long time. Still takes forever to get this going. Right, okay, so first and foremost, let us disable the BFG. There's only one BFG now, so we can happily turn that off. There we go. I would like the whole group to move down here, except, of course, for the Marshmallow and the Dig Rig, who are going to move straight up here, clear out all of this, and then get back. Once that's done, we will turn the BFG back on. Alright, let's go ahead, get down here, please. Why are you moving so slowly? That part I don't understand quite, but okay. There we are, just removing all of that. Perfect. Right. Actually, let's wait for you to get way out of the way there. There we are. Now BFG can be re-engaged. Go ahead and delete the everything in order to access the Brucus. There we go. Perfectly done. I'm already noticing that the Shelob is doing a fantastic job. We'll start marching forward. I don't think we need 2 BFGs on in a single map. 1 BFG still leaves enough to do for the other mechs that it doesn't feel completely raffle-stompy. Of course, we are absolutely taking both BFGs into a nest. I am... No, honestly, it feels like that's possibly one of the only places. I mean, granted, I thought that of the water, but that may well be the only place where the BFG isn't going to be overpowered, where that's actually just going to be the tactically sound thing to do. That being said, you know, the idea of overkill and not deploying forces when realistically just having it on the map costs us resources and each shot does not. The idea of overkill, or rather, you know, avoiding it, that is the only tactically unsound thing to do, realistically speaking. Let's just get right up here and just pop our way through here. I think we've gotten rid of all that remains. Do we want to wait for this laser to go past? Sure, we'll wait for the laser to go past and then we'll just scooch in. Alright, there we go. We will chase that around. We're actually just ever so slightly slower. That's fine. Okay, maybe don't get too close. There we go. Nice and easy. Fairly simple mission for us to do there. Okay. Now then, I kind of alluded to it earlier, that perhaps moving forward, at least until we finish the game, I might skip over some of the battles and only really keep the really interesting ones in. But the other thing we could do is just 1 battle per turn and maybe not worry too much about loss of experience as long as we don't lose minerals. That would be the main thing. We would just march forward, like 1 mission, turn the day, keep moving onwards, basically just clearing the path in front of ourselves. Let me know what you would think about that. Now let's get all of the pilots out and set everyone back up for the next fight. There we go. Still leaning quite heavily on the BFG, and again, it's really hard not to, I feel. Right, let's have a look. We're going to have 23 nests. Shouldn't be too much of a problem since we don't have any millers to worry about. Okay, once again, exactly the same setup. We'll have Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown taking on Flagella. We will also... will you go across there? There we go. Oh, no, I put encrypted. My bad. Sorry. I was thinking, why have I got 1 extra pilot that can't go in anyway? There's Van Loswin. Sorry. In my defense, okay? They look the same, and that's not even me being rude. One is literally the clone of the other. I feel justified in my mistake. I mean, it's still a mistake, but yeah, anyway. Sorry about that. Right, let's get Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown in position. Let's go, I think, with Frostfire. Sure, we'll get you targeting the other flagellum, then Shepherd. Oh, sorry. Nicola, then Shepherd, Marshmallow, and Digrig. All ready to go. Now, if we're very lucky we have a nice opening for this fight, then we should be able to get that one going straight away. I wonder why it takes so long now. Ooh, that's a little bit close. Quite close, actually. Let's just duck back a little bit, a wee bit, if you like. Right, we've got... Honestly, at this point, we may as well just wait for them to get up here. And this is part of the problem with the BFGs. It encourages me to just wait. Wait for the BFG to see something it wants to attack and then unleash on it. We just want a flagella around here. There we go. And now the unholy barrage can commence. Let's scooch to the side a little bit, make sure that we've got some good sight lines. In fact, we should probably march forward, realistically speaking. Unleash the BFG. There we go. Pop all of these nests down there. Don't get pushed around. That I saw the life of all of my pilots flash before my eyes for a second there. Not gonna lie. There was a grim moment where I could see that exploding right on top of us. Alright, let's try not to get pushed around by the tidal forces too much. Good lord, look at all those nests, though. My goodness, what can we even do here? Sure, okay, let's get peeps in position. We should easily be able to open up this path, but what I really want is I'm hoping that this Brucus is going to allow us to just pop through this wall if we're... No, it didn't last long enough. Oh, what just happened? Oh, goodness, what's happening? What are you attacking? Oh, is this... The currents were causing them to trigger. Oh, that's going to hurt, because that was a couple of shots. But it looks like all of the damage to the systems has already been repaired. That's fine then. But that is quite worrisome that the tides can cause the BFG rockets to detonate by themselves. It's actually really worrisome. I think it is ultimately going to be easier for us to just move this way, kill things on the way, and then just sweep down through all of the nests. Rather than trying to dig through, because there are so many enemies here, I feel that is just going to cause us problems ultimately. Let's keep close to the walls. I'm loving the effect of these massive shields that the Marshmallow and the Digrig have. And on top of that, we've got 4 different mechs using a kind of a powerful fire effect from the shielding. Who knew that unshielding the shielding could be so effective in combat? There we go. Let's just get in there, try and get our weapon systems engaged. And there we are, nice and easy. All right, let's get in here, get down to the next... actually, not down to the next level. We're not going into the nest right here, but get this all sorted, and then we can pass a day and start getting some more components. We are a little ways off from needing to deal with the nest just yet, since we've got at least 1 more day. And if we go up on this side, we've got 2 more days. Is this a... I can't tell if that is a water tile or not, because we might not even need to travel across this, all things said and done. We can't yet see where this is. All we know is that there is a nest somewhere up here. Probably somewhere here, I'm going to guess. So there may still be a nest directly in front of us. Well, let's get everyone over here. I'm going to say right now there's probably someone who's going to need a little bit of time in the infirmary after all of that. Rizel, did you get your level? You did indeed. Okay, Rizel's getting the new tank ability, the taunt. And we're going to be setting you up for another pilot for the Marshmallow and the Digrig. Liking that a lot. All right, let's see the damage. Whose health is all kinds of messed up? Ravian took a bit of a blow there, yeah. As did Isham a little bit. Yeah, let's get you in there. Stress relief needs to go up. As for the combat testing, yeah, our clone is going to need quite a lot. Right, with that done, let's have a look at the science team. Is there anything we really need to look at here? We're about to get a lot of staff off there really, really soon. As for you, there's 7 days there. 6 days on fusion, 3 days on toxins, and 9 days on railgun plasma. I'm quite interested to see how the railgun as a plasma weapon is going to function. That one is going to be very nice. This is an upgrade to the electric engines that we've got right now. I noticed because we previously didn't have any spare electric engines, and we haven't got any higher tier ones. We've simply got the same electric engine we already had, just one more of them. So that was the prototype that we researched there, which is quite an interesting one. Right, now we want 2 of these, and then 2 of these, and then 1 more, besides to have this reactor ready to go. We've got a couple of extra components just lying around hither and yon. Wouldn't mind getting another nuke, certainly. I would also kind of like getting another railgun, if I could, and another Tesla, for that matter. We've got a couple of different weapons I would like to get going, but I am thinking that maybe getting a large-scaled BFG. It's going to take a long time to make it, but 15 days, I think, like, it's a huge research project right there. I don't even know if we've got 15 days worth of travel left. Actually, let's quickly check. So, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, we do not, especially considering we'll be able to do that mission just from being close to it. 2 tiles away is the mission border. We don't even have 15 days left before we win the game, assuming nothing terribly bad happens between now and then, which there's no guarantee that it won't. Still, that's yeah, that definitely puts things into perspective. As for the question, I've received so many questions. Can you just clear the whole planet? From my understanding, yes, you can. The reason why you would want to, though, is there is no achievement, there is no extra ending for having done it. It's just something you can do for shiggles. If you want to have a personal achievement, you can do that, but it is extremely arduous. It takes a very, very long time to clear the whole map. And as we're already seeing now, one engagement is much the same as all of the other engagements currently, until we change something. And there's still quite a lot of things that we can change, quite a lot of mech engineering to do. Let's go ahead and pass this day, I think. But whilst there is a lot of mech engineering to do, there's definitely not that much. There's not enough to keep giving us new things trickle-fed across an entire campaign to rid the world of things. So by about halfway through the campaign, nothing is going to change ever again. You're going to have your perfect mech squad that are probably able to ruffle stomp everything, and you don't need to build anything. And it's like, well, okay, I'm just doing this to two-finger salute to the aliens, which, I mean, you do you. But that is probably not something I'm going to aim for. Might be something I'd stream, though. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. It would be a very long stream of very much the same thing happening again and again, though. Just putting that out there. At least until more content is added, if that is coming down the pipe. Now, we didn't get that many new humans out of the hospital. 1,434. 84.90. It did go up by 0.5, I believe, on that one, unfortunately. But we have got a new mech. Now then, let us poke our faces in here at this. Now, I'm not going to hook it up yet. It's got 5 orc slots, okay. Only 4 motor slots, so not a huge amount of weight. 4 weapon systems. Passive armor is 4. Okay. Well, I mean, evasion chance is going to be amazing just because of the fact that nothing's on it yet. But it has got an enormous, just passive resistance to being pushed around. That's quite impressive. I do like that. Now, the big question. Do we not have limbs? I don't believe we do. No. Sad. I thought those were arms, but apparently no. They are not arms. Deep sadness. Really, though. I honestly thought that was going to be something with that. Maybe it's because I haven't popped in the cabins or some such along those lines. That is quite possibly the issue there. Right, I would like to go over to the mechs, and I would like very much for Shelob, with their relatively slow fire rate, reload rate, to get a bump in control, and also a bump in safety. That has done a huge bit of work for us in terms of our reload. There we go. We're still above the 20 layers of armor coating, which is where I wanted us to be, ultimately. We also have the better motors now, so I can pop another one in here, and maybe another one another one besides. I would like to get up to max on all of these, if I could. That's putting us up at 460. Our speed is now pretty amazing. And at this point, I can start dialing back some of the changes I made to the weapons in order to make them carryable. So give me just a few moments to sort that out. There we go. We have now got many layers of coating on this mech, which is quite nice. Now, once this is upgraded fully as well, we're going to be in the sort of territory where we would be able to equip another railgun. Now, whether or not we could afford to hook this up as we have, I've increased its fire rate, so I do need to do the testing here, because that's probably going to affect it in some way. And having two would definitely affect it. We'd probably at that stage need to switch back to having a second heatsink, but with the added fire rate, I think that would be alright. So, give me just a moment to do the testing, but as we can see, with another one of these, even outside of the higher tier electric motors, we would probably be able to equip this to be an absolute beast in the arena of kinetic weapons. Well, it feels like we have made a railgun chain gun. I'm pretty certain that we're not even going to be able to make this work with a single heatsink, like as is, much less adding a second one on here. So that was at the 85% mark reload, and once we're not even going to get halfway through our ammo clip before this overheats from firing that railgun. Look how fast it's firing! Also, can we all agree that railgun chain gun is really fun to say? Right, I'm going to have to put in another heatsink. That has surprised me so much that I wanted to point that out. Like, we'll have to drop this down a little bit. Now, that's given us a lot more temperature that we can handle in here, but oh, okay. Well, let's see how this goes. Okay, this is easily one of the best kind of sessions of engineering a balance between weapon and mech and thermal load that I have done in this entire series, and I've had so much fun with it. But you could shave with the edge that this mech is walking as it gets close to its thermal capacity. It dances on the line. Now, it took a lot of effort to get it to get to this point, because we were cooling down too well. And in the end, I had to add a whole other gun. And these blue wires are here not because I need the energy. These are here to throttle the ability of my reactor to cool itself. That's all these are there for. Because every time you add a wire, whether it's red or blue, if you look down here, basic heat and max cooling, there you go, it increases it by just a tiny bit. This is the exact amount. One more than this and it'll overheat from the point that it can, if it sustains constant fire from the point of a reload, it will just as it's about to reload, overheat, which is why I mean it is dancing on a knife's edge. When we upgrade this to have two railguns, that is going to be a wild ride to try and sort this out. But interestingly, in the end, I didn't go with two heatsinks. I went with a heatsink and a capacitor, and that is just enough to keep this going. But honestly, had so much fun with this that I just couldn't not report it. This is what Mech Engineer is about right now. Right, let's go ahead and deploy you back out there. Cost us 50 odd engineers to get that done. That is perfectly fine. What's the temperature over here? Actually not that bad. It's only 107. So I'm gonna guess, well, actually we're moving up towards the equator. That might be in volcano territory. It's a distinct possibility. I mean, this is definitely plains. So we're going to want to start marching up and then take on a nest in the next episode. Not in this one, but definitely in the next one. All right, so for the time being then, I'm going to say let's go ahead and clear out everything around here. We're going to have the can-eat mechs on every single mission we go on. I would love to include the nest in this one, but honestly, I have now been recording for about 2 hours. Genuinely, some of the tweaking of systems that I've had to do in this episode was just things of beauty. I enjoyed it, but it took a very long time, and I've got to get on with chores and such. Right, let's see. As far as resources go, these two are the best ones. So, sure. Let's go ahead and do that. One is as good as the next for us. We're going to be facing off against Energy, the Floss, which is an interesting one. We haven't done that in quite some time. But alright, let's head over here. I've, of course, gone out of order. I do need, in fact, to finish off the ammo factory. So there we go. Let's go ahead and clock that in. And now our mechs are going to be that much cheaper to deploy. Very, very happy to have gotten that one done. Right, so, as far as the pilots, let's go ahead and get everyone... Wow. Clone 5, you actually gained a lot of experience from that training session. Well done. But I'm going to get the pilot set up, and I will bring you back in time for the next mission. Okay, then. This is going to be a bit of an interesting one, because we've got 4 different targets here. In fact, because of that, I'm going to say that... what's your armor? 14. I'm going to have... Yeah, I'm going to have... Phoenix also help out with taking these on, and we will have 2 people going for the Mech Eaters, 3 people going for the Floss because they've got significant damage at long range, and then 1 person going for the Ares, and then Operaris will be the focus of the Dig Rig and the Marshmallow as usual. Let's get you in position. Now we want someone with a decent range on the Floss, so Nicola, you're going to grab that. We will have also Mr. Pink and Mr. Brown there and there. You're fine to be attacked by the Shepherd, and Frostfire can help out with the Ares, who will resist kinetic damage. Alright, I think that's a decent distribution there. Okay, let's get into this fight. Now, this is going to be kind of an interesting one, just sheerly, completely because of the amount of different enemies that we're going to be facing. We're not going to be able to target in the same way that we generally do. Right, I'm going to want everyone down here, except for, of course, we're going to want you two clearing up this little area over there and then draw back. I would rather you do this reasonably quickly. In fact, I'm going to have you just go straight up through here, all the way up, and start clearing this area out and then get back. Hopefully that's going to get a clear sight on the enemies that are going to be coming down towards us. Right, let's go. Go, go, go. Quickly as you can, please, and thank you. Well done, though I do need to clear up a little bit on your way back. There we are. That was beautifully done. Beautifully done. Oh, good lord. Greatly disapprove of those things. Wow. Alright. It's going to be a bit nasty, but hopefully the BFGs can crack them relatively quick. Good lord, there's a lot of them spawning, though. Alright. Kind of scary, but BFG does tend to help with frightening things. There we go. All of those have been popped. Getting pulled around, getting popped. Yeah, okay, that's not terribly bad. That Brucus over there is not particularly happy about being almost killed, so is going to try and flee. I would like them removed sooner rather than later, ideally. There we go, that'll work for me. Alright, let's continue marching upwards. What I would love to see... Now, there are a lot of Brucus on this map. There are actually 6 Brucus. Now, if we could start seeing maps fielding this many enemies a little bit more often, I would be A-okay with that. Are you really going to try and get through that little hole? Okay, I'm not... yeah, we're not playing around with that. We will pop you from afar. I'm not seeing the others showing up yet, though. One thing I will say is the fact that we are underwater, meaning that the enemy are not deploying their... Wow, those things are just being yoinked towards us. Deploying mortars. That's really helpful. I wonder how different it's going to be when we have to struggle with that again. Because I'm not seeing a lot of the worst creatures being spawned here. There we go. And we'll start maneuvering so that we get a better shot on this nest, ideally. There we go. Let's just continue removing those from existence. There we are. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Right, just wait for the weenie ones to get cleared out. They got kicked into the walls. There we are. Now, from this position, we should be able to engage. Yeah, there we go. We've got a bunch of things spawning, so that'll be fine for us to engage from here. Let's just make sure. Ooh, you're a little bit behind. Dislike that, gonna be honest. Not a huge fan. But if we've managed to already remove... Oh, good lord. I dislike them being pulled so close, though. That was quite unsettling. But I'm gonna be honest. The Shelob is doing some crazy work here. I'm really impressed. Because that is largely the Shelob puncturing that shield from this distance. That was beautiful. Beautifully done. Absolutely wonderful, in fact. What I would very much like to see... where is Shelob right now? Is that Shelob right there? Yes, it is. Very interesting look on that. I would have expected to see the legs more, but it actually looks smaller than the mining mech, oddly. But that was a fairly good engagement, and I will say that the fact that Shelob was still performing quite well, despite the presence of the BFG, is something that gives me a little bit of heart there. Tubman got some good experience. Rizel, Encrypt, very close to level 9 now. Encrypt, very, very close. Phoenix Delia, very close to level 10. Alright, I like that. We brought in a hell of a lot of materials. Very, very nice indeed. Now, I do worry that we're going to have seen some people taking a bit of vitality damage there. And there's not much we can do about it, but hopefully it won't be too much. Right, I'm going to get the next team ready. Let's just have a quick look. Just swift glance. Yeah, I'm not seeing any negative relationships anymore. It seems that just through the sheer weight and shared experience of, you know, trying to survive in the post-apocalypse, people are just bonding, even ones that really didn't get on in the beginning, and that's nice. I think we can all agree with that. Right, I'll get the pilots ready and we'll go on the next mission. Alright, we're going to be facing some Millis here. Another map with 6 Brucus, though, which is interesting. We're getting a lot more Brucus now than we used to. Mini Murgle will be in command as usual. There we go, and we'll immediately go down to the defenders. We've got Isham in the dig rig, and we've got Russell in the Marshmallow. Now we want 2 people to take on Millis. Millis are, of course, resistant to explosive damage, so we're going to pop Shepherd on one of those. And we'll also have Frostfire also taking a shot at them. Up here then, we are going to want Nicola, I'm gonna say going for the Ares, sure. And then Mr. Pink, piloted by Winterblade, and Mr. Brown by Regery, going for the... You know what, I don't remember what their name is. Let me have a quick look. What are you? You are the Gamorous. There we go. Alright, so we're more likely to be starting over here and having to end up down there. It shouldn't be too terribly bad, all things considered. Right, let's get into the battle, and hopefully things will go as well as they have been going overall. We are now above 10,000 resources in every single category, which is absolutely wondrous. Not the best engagement here. We're very far away from any other nests. That is actually a bit of a problem. So much so that this time we are going to just disable the BFG and immediately just march down here as quickly as we can and just pop this by normal means. There we go. Removed. Let's try and get as far... Oh, this is a nasty place for us to fight. I'm going to be honest, I'm really not liking it. BFG is going to be disabled for a while. Let's get down here as quickly as we can. Go, go, go. See when they activate. They've not activated yet. Alright, let's get in here. Now at this point, I'm going to want Marshmallow and Dig Rig to do some very special work. Right, Marshmallow, I want you to just go through here, clear this up, race up, and try and get back down here. It's going to be a bit of a rough one for you, I'm not going to lie. But let's go. Oh no, they're already active. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Then we're not going to engage that in the same way. I want you to get back here instead. Move, move, move. Down here, down here. Move. Everyone get over here. And I am going to activate the BFG. BFG, you are wrong place. You are clear to engage. There we are. Let's just pop them as quickly as we are able to. There we go. We took a little bit of damage. Unavoidable at this point. That could easily have just been from the enemy there. Oh, that was unfortunate. What just happened there? That was very unfortunate. What just happened? Let's have a quick look. Most of our people hardened now by the time they spent. Russell took a bit of damage there. That will be fixed very quickly. But most people, even whilst they were actively taking damage, the little static on the display, I feel is indicative of the mech taking damage, whereas the cockpit having a crack is indicative of the pilot having been wounded. But I feel like the mechs here are getting to a point now where, the mech pilots are getting to a point now where they're so hardened it doesn't bother them. It's like, yeah, no, I'm under fire. I've been under fire a million times before. I'm still alive, aren't I? Oh, good lord. All right. Duly noted. There is, in fact, a base over here. Very well. In that case, we're going to collect resources. We are going to collect resources for now. Let's get up there. Get the BFG involved. Just pop everything. Over here as well. That is not what I was expecting. It is definitely not what I wanted to see. Can we get the BFG engaging? Thank you, because that's going to give us access to the other one. There we are. Perfect. All right, we're going to grab everything and then we're going to retreat. There's no point in us taking any unnecessary risks down here. We've gotten this far without losing anyone, and I don't want to just start now because I am impatient. Again, there are two types of people who play these kinds of games. XCOM likes those who will fastidiously clear the map and check every corner. Do proper breach protocol even after they're fairly certain the last enemy is dead, and as soon as they hit the end turn button, it's going to end the turn. And then there are people. Oh, actually, no, this wasn't a bait. No, we are actually entering. No, we are not, in fact, entering. So let's come back out here. We are going to retreat. There we go. But there are two types of people. Those who will take the last turn. They're certain they've killed all the aliens, and as soon as they hit the end turn button, that's going to be the mission over. But nevertheless, they take all of their moves as if the mission isn't over yet. They probably set up overwatches and such, and then there are the people who lose their entire squad to an alien grenade. There is no grey area between these two types of players, and I am very firmly in Camp A. Right, that being said, it takes me 5 times as long to complete a campaign because I'm just allergic to losing people. Which is a bit of an odd one when you consider that I'm also, like, always Iron Man, and if someone dies, someone dies. Right, so, pretty good return. Not as amazing as the last area, but there's still quite a lot of materials there. But we definitely took some injuries there that were unnecessary. That was a particularly rough deployment of nests. And it's interesting, when the nests aren't scattered all over the place, the BFGs are much worse. That was a really good example of where the BFGs really struggled. Ravian, you're going to need to be in the hospital again, mate. At this point, I'm going to put Vanya Loswin in instead of Mini Murgle, because Mini Murgle's stress resistance is so good at the moment. Right, at this point, Clone 5, let's get you back into training. You're going to be in training for a while, Clone 5, I'm going to be honest with you. That is going to be where you live for a little bit. Right. Now then, we have got a new... Ooh, that already looks good. Let's have a look at you. New mech, the Tentacle. Okay. 6 guns, 0 armor, 95 water... Oh, it's another water mech, okay. Small ammo capacity, previously used to repair stations in space. Multiple design modifications to make it an effective fighting machine. Alright, well, I'm okay with putting the rubber stamp on that one. We've got one more mech design beyond that to look into. Okay, so as for production, we need one more of these. So let's pop that down in Hangar 2. Let's go ahead and order that one. I would then very, very much like some more cabins. So at least one more. And I'm thinking maybe get some more armor. Yeah, I think getting armor being made would be wise. There we go. In fact, maybe we could spend a little bit of time there. But if I do that, I'm not going to get a size up. No, it's time to bite the bullet. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. let's go ahead, pop this in. It's going to take us 15 days to make this thing. Again, we might not even be playing by the time that this is done, but I'm willing to lock it down for now on the off chance we get there. Look, even if we complete it, I promise I'll make a redundant save, and then I'll just pass some time so you can see how this looks. There you go. That it can't say fairer than that, in my opinion. Right, okay, so everything there is pretty solid. We're going to get some new armor plates. We will have the reactor ready tomorrow. Now, anything else we need to do today? I've got all that done. Tomorrow we're going to be getting the armor and the control rod, but no more research until Monday. Then some specialists, some extra armor, and a new mech as well. Then, on Thursday, we will get the fusion reactor and the next tier of motor on Friday. Then the following week, we'll get the plasma for the rail. And then the following week, we will finally get the size up of BFG. It's going to take us a while, but hopefully you're interested in seeing how that goes. I think we did a fairly solid run today. There was a lot of engineering. This was a very, at least from my perspective, a very mech engineer-heavy episode, but, you know, that's par for the course sometimes. Of course, we're going to start moving northward. We will get into this tower and then just move across and then carry on going up, I think. Though by then we will have either discovered that we can clear it or we will just have to nuke it, I think. Those are the only two options that we have available to us. So I hope you're going to be joining me for that. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as well, and I look forward to your feedback down below. But until next time, and as always, do leave a like if you liked, sub if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, engineers.